Hello, girls. I thought I would give you a quick video on the items I use to make my Instapot potatoes that were so delicious. All right, so I have here a bag of Petite Gold gourmet potatoes. This is a 1 pound, well, it's actually 1 pound 8 ounces. It's 24 ounces, a pound and a half. So that's what I used. I used the full bag, a pound and a half. They're small gold, and I think you can buy these bags that have assorted potatoes, some red, some gold, some white, and those would work just as fine. I rinsed these in the bag. I think that's why they put the holes. Well, the potatoes breathe better too, but I just rinsed them in the bag, cut the bag open, and then I cut each of these potatoes in half. Drop them in my Instapot on top of the metal rack. I used the Lipton Recipe Secrets. One bag, just one. And I sprinkled this over the top of my potatoes. Then you could use water or you can use broth. I used bone broth, chicken. Now, Julie had a really good idea. She said if you put your fluid in already hot, then it'll reduce your cook time. But if it doesn't matter to you, just add your, you needed half a cup. So you could use any, if you have any open broth in your refrigerator, you could use beef, chicken, vegetable, or you could just use water. I had some chicken broth in my refrigerator, so I just poured the broth over the Lipton onion soup, which was on top of the potatoes. I then added, you could have put the fluid in first too, it doesn't really matter. I added 2 tablespoons of butter, cut up into small, just little chunks. So they're about 10 chunks. And I put them around, my dog is leaning on my leg. I put my chunks of butter on top of my potatoes. So in this pot on the rack, we have half a cup of liquid, preheated or not, 24 ounces, a pound and a half bag of small potatoes cut in half, 1 envelope of Lipton onion soup mix, sprinkled evenly, 2 tablespoons of butter, chopped up and put on top of the potatoes. Put the Instapot lid on, make sure your ring is affixed properly. Put the lid on, make sure you set it to sealing, and manual for 7 minutes. Probably would have worked with 6 minutes, but I did 7 and I loved it. And voila. It'll take about 10 minutes to come up to full steam, 7 minutes to cook. And if you allow it to naturally release, it takes about 8 to 10 minutes. I believe after 5 or 6 minutes, I went ahead and turned it to venting and let it release on its own quickly. I'm going to sneeze. Excusez-moi. And these little potatoes were so delicious, you could serve them with anything. You could mash them at that point, serve them with any kind of meat, put them with a roast. They were delicious. I think it also would have worked great if there was a roast in the pot, and to do the same thing. Just put the potatoes in around the roast, add the Lipton onion soup mix. Of course, you have to adjust your time for the meat. But when I cooked my chicken, it needed 35 minutes, and I used the same potatoes, not quite as many. And the potatoes held their shape. They were soft but not mushy. It was delicious. So there you have it. Let me know if you try it and how you like it. Today, I'm about to do apples and potatoes with pork chops. I'll let you know how it goes.